The ugly red slur glared from the freshly painted white brick of the community center, a violent scar on a building meant for hope. Mr. Henderson, the president of the Neighborhood Association, stood before it, his face a mask of performative outrage, but his eyes, as they swept over the small crowd, held a different emotion, a smug satisfaction. His gaze lingered a moment too long on Kofi, the only black artist on the Community Revitalization Committee. The power dynamic was as stark as the graffiti itself. Henderson, a man who wielded homeowner complaints like a weapon, and Kofi, a quiet man whose hands were more accustomed to creating beauty than confronting ugliness. What Henderson did not know was that this act of hatred was about to be transformed into a masterpiece that would win an award he could never have imagined. "This is what happens when we let certain elements into our neighborhood," Henderson announced, his voice dripping with implication. He didn't point at Kofi, but he didn't have to. "It brings down our property values. It creates a climate." Kofi felt the heat of every gaze. He saw the mothers pull their children closer, the other committee members shift uncomfortably. The indignation was a physical pressure in his chest. But he didn't react. He simply stared at the wall, his artist's mind already seeing past the hateful words to the texture of the brick, the way the morning light hit the surface. They see a stain, he thought, his grandfather's voice echoing in his memory. But we have always known how to make beauty from ashes. The city council, pressured by Henderson's loud complaints, gave the community center an ultimatum: paint over the vandalism within 48 hours or face fines. The center had no funds for a professional job. Panic set in. Henderson suggested a plain, cheap coat of whitewash, a literal and metaphorical cover-up. It was then that the center's director, a weary woman named Maria, turned to Kofi. "Is there anything we can do?" she asked, her voice desperate. Kofi didn't promise anything. He simply walked to his truck and returned with a bucket of primer, rollers, and a case of spray paint. Without a word, he began to cover the slur with a thick gray base coat. This was his answer. Action, not argument. For 2 days, Kofi worked. He didn't speak to the gawkers or the reporters Henderson had called. He moved with a calm, rhythmic focus. A vibrant emerald green jungle began to emerge from the gray. Then the sinuous, powerful form of a black panther, its eyes holding a profound, ancient wisdom. He incorporated the rough texture of the brick into the animal's fur, making it seem as if the panther was emerging from the very wall itself, a guardian spirit. The mural was breathtaking, a stunning counterpoint to the hatred that had preceded it. The local newspaper ran a picture on the front page. Henderson, seeing the positive attention, approached Kofi as he cleaned his brushes. "It's striking," he conceded, his tone oily. "I'll pay you $500 to sign a waiver. We'll say it was a collaborative neighborhood effort. My association will take credit for commissioning it." He was trying to buy the beauty, to co-opt the triumph for his own racist narrative. Kofi looked at the man, his hands stained with the colors of creation. "No," he said, his voice quiet but absolute. "This mural doesn't belong to you. It belongs to every child who sees themselves in that panther's strength. I will not let you erase my story a second time." The following week, the story reached the State Arts Council. A prestigious panel awarded the mural the Golden Brush Prize for Public Art, complete with a $10,000 grant for the community center. The local news station arrived to film the award ceremony. It was then that the full backstory was revealed. The reporter, having done her research, announced that Kofi Mensah was not just a local artist, but a world-renowned muralist whose work graced galleries in Paris and New York, and who had chosen to move to this quiet neighborhood to care for his aging mother. Henderson, who had dismissed him as a certain element, was exposed on live television as the small-minded bigot he was. The Neighborhood Association voted him out of his presidency the very next day. Weeks later, a different man knocked on Kofi's door. It was Henderson. His shoulders slumped. He didn't offer excuses. He handed Kofi a petition signed by dozens of neighbors, proposing that the laneway beside the community center be officially renamed Panther's Path. "I was wrong," Henderson said, the words clearly foreign and difficult. "I didn't see the value you brought. I only saw difference." Kofi accepted the petition. The man who had painted the slurs was now advocating for the mural's permanent place in the neighborhood's identity. The hatred had been transformed, not hidden, into a source of communal pride and a lesson in the power of art. It proves that hatred can shout, but creativity will always have the final, more powerful voice. This story shows that true dignity lies not in responding to ugliness with more ugliness, but in answering it with such breathtaking beauty that the world is forced to see your worth. If this story about transformative justice and hidden potential touched you, subscribe for more tales of resilience and redemption.